What a Monday it has been for the red half of Manchester after that magnificent derby victory yesterday. We'll reflect on a great, great day for United and look ahead to also what's another huge, huge week for the club. The lads have gathered. Let's check in with Danny and with Maisie and with Ben and with Wes. Boys, what an absolutely brilliant, brilliant afternoon that was, wasn't it, Ben?
Yeah, it was. It was a fantastic performance. We all knew what we were up against in Man City. I think, what was it, October of 2019, the last time they failed to score in the league. So we knew what a monumental task it was. But we also knew that we had the game, especially on the counter-attack, to be able to combat them. And with a combination of that and some unbelievable resolute defending, as well as some, sort of poor quality unnaturally for Manchester City in the final third, we ran out worthy winners. I thought it was an absolutely brilliant performance. You
got that stat from me. Let's get it. You got that.
Right,
from
whatever.
Yeah. Danny, I'm just letting you. I'm just making sure everyone knows he got that from me. Danny, you were there as well. I mean, you were pretty confident, weren't you, beforehand?
I was, yeah. I was. I had a feeling like we always seem to go there and do all right. I know if you look at over the last 5 or 6 games we've played them, they've had one decent performance against us where we were second best. But if we're up for the fight, we always ruffle the feathers. And it's almost like I look at it like the battle between Wan-Bissaka and Sterling.
Yeah.
Like Wan-Bissaka's got him on toast every time. Sterling, yeah, he has most defenders up, but it's almost like he's got in his head now. And every single time Sterling plays, he's looking and knowing Wan-Bissaka's coming behind him or he's gonna hit him. And it's like City have that sort of mentality against United, and I just think that when we go there, it helps that we get off on the front foot like we did, but we press them high. And we ruffle the feathers from the off. De Bruyne was misplacing passes in the first 15, 20 minutes. It was so uncharacteristic. And he came into the game, don't get me wrong, but our first 20 minutes stuns them. And they go forward, but very unsure about what we can do to them going the other way. So, yeah, it was a very good performance, mate.
Maisie, Ollie's tactical plan. I mean, obviously, it's always all about Pep and sometimes you wonder whether... manager gets the credit he deserves, really, but he's now won more than he's lost against Pep, 4 wins to 3. The tactical plan seemed to work to an absolute T. Are you impressed with that?
I am. It seems to do it against, he's done it certainly against Pep, PSG. I mean, I know we've gone to Liverpool, drew there, Chelsea, drew there. That aspect of setting up not to get beaten is fantastic. And it's only when you look at chances against Liverpool, Pogba had a chance, an unbelievable chance. We had a couple more chances. Chelsea, we had some good chances to win the game. And that's the only difference from everyone going, oh, you've not scored against the top 6. We took our chances. And yesterday was absolutely fantastic. It really was. He set out to play counter-attack, and it worked ever so well. Yes, we got the break in the first minute with a penalty. But I always thought, similar to Danny really, I always thought on the counter, we can do them. And we had some better chances, or we had some other great opportunities where we could have actually finished them. But 2-0's always an horrible score. 1 goal there back in it. But I thought Ollie got it absolutely bang on yesterday, and he deserves all the credit he gets. He really does.
You mentioned we drew at Liverpool, Maisie. That was a terrible result, it turns out.
I know, can you believe that? We're the only team that's not won there this year. That's scandalous. Sack Ollie, sack him. Not good enough. You talk about Super Sunday, Stu. That's enough.
I know. It was unbelievable, wasn't it? Wes, I mean, as you a centre-back, it's worth us talking about the defence as well. I mean, a lot of talk about us not scoring enough goals recently, but that's 4 clean sheets on the spin, including away to Chelsea and away to City, 2 arguably the hardest games of the season. So the defence and Henderson as well, what did you make of their performance?
Yeah, they were brilliant and kept everything tight. I think it started from the beginning. I thought the top, the strikers, the top 3, they pressed really well alongside Scott and Fred, and Bruno, who runs all day, by the way. They got in the faces of Man City. They just couldn't handle it. I don't think City thought that was going to happen. I know for a fact they would have thought they would have had a lot more time on the ball. But like we talked about there, Ollie's plan was to give him no time, and they panicked a little bit, if I'm being honest, first 20 minutes, and they weren't sure what was happening. They got the ball to the wide players. That's where I always think City are the best, when they get the best, couple of wingers on the ball and take players on. And like Maisie said, Wan-Bissaka and Webbs, Wan-Bissaka and Shaw absolutely handled him, and then they didn't really know what to do for the first 20 minutes. But I thought we worked so much harder than them as well, and we stunned them a little bit. And if we can just keep that going, if we can do that in every game, we'd be flying. But great performance, because you'd expect City to come back and at least score, just because they always score at home. The defence was absolutely brilliant, yeah.
Well, you mentioned there, Wes, if only we could do that in every game. How do we explain the Palace performance and that performance 3 or 4 days later?
It's got to be mental, hasn't it, lads? I don't know. Obviously, they must have been up for this. They really wanted to win it. And they just took it to City a little bit. I don't think many teams have done that this season. They've let City have the ball. We press really high. We always know City are not going to change the game. And if you can get a few misplaced passes, our counter-attack is deadly as anyone. So it worked really well.
Yeah, it worked superbly well. Luke Shaw as well, Ben. I mean, we've spoken about him a lot this season. Arguably player of the season for United, but he was superb again yesterday, wasn't he? And of all the people to get a goal, Luke Shaw.
Yeah, he was probably the most deserving. And by the way, the goal that we scored, that second goal, there's a lot to be said for, trying to play out from the back, but also the way Henderson threw the ball and Luke Shaw's first touch and the way that he left De Bruyne for dead carrying the ball. And it was a wonderful finish, really, really composed. But as Danny already touched on, and the lads, that Wan-Bissaka, Sterling gets no change out of him. Well, no. Pep seems to keep playing Mahrez against Shaw. And not only has Shaw had him in his pocket, but now going the other way, he's actually scored a goal as well. And he has been sensational this season. And when you think over the years what he's been through with terrible injuries and obviously being called out by Jose Mourinho as well, I think he's shown incredible character to come back from that. And not only to come back from it, but to be top of the tree and definitely in contention for being one of our players of the season. He's been absolutely awesome.
Must also mention this weekend, United's women back to winning ways, beat Villa 3-0 to continue their sort of top 3 challenge in the WSL. And also, we must mention the 18s, who are top of their table after beating Liverpool. McNeil, the goal scorer. So it's been a fantastic weekend overall for Manchester United across the age ranges. None better, of course, than the Manchester derby. Before we talk about AC Milan as well coming up this week, we better just tidy up the reaction from last week's show, your comments on our YouTube channel, which are also always welcome. This one here, that was an interesting interview with Tobin Heath, who was obviously a big part of the United's women's squad, and Maisie did that interview as part of the United podcast. On that topic of butterflies before games, did the 4 lads used to get butterflies before stepping out onto the pitch? Let's just go around him quickly. Maisie did the interview. Did you get butterflies? You don't look like a butterflies type of guy, but did you?
No, not really. No, a little bit apprehensive, but no. Listen, I think turning out Old Trafford, 70,000 people week in, week out, you do get a little bit used to it, but the big games, they're the best. So yeah, you do a little bit.
Where's butterflies or not?
Not really. When I used to walk out, I honestly used to think about smashing the first. What's the first chance I'm going to be able to smash this guy now? That is the only, and I never used to get butterflies because that was my job. When can I upset this player just to see if he can take it or not? That was the only thing I used to think. That's the only
That's
not necessarily foul him, but just like got a proper tackle on him. Let's see what he's up for. Is he up for it? Maisie knows what I mean.
If his back holds up against the boards.
Yeah, just see if he's up for it. If his head goes down afterwards, or he's like, right, okay, let's see what's happening.
Ben, that wouldn't be your first thought, I'd imagine, when you ran out, was it?
Well, it would have been my first thought to make sure that I didn't get clattered off either of them two. That is for sure. I must admit, I probably always did have a little bit of nervousness going out, a few butterflies. Whether I was playing in the youth team, reserves, whether I played in the first team, anywhere. And I just think it's quite healthy.
Yeah. And Danny, you when you were running out at Port Vale, were you?
Mate, Shannon for me, innit? Do you know what I mean? Shannon for me. Anyway, to be honest, I was all right, Stu. I weren't too bad. I would just got on with football, and whatever happened. Do you know what I mean? Bristol made me nervous, so.
Yeah, I'd imagine, but
Big games and big games.
Terrified.
Yeah. This one from Nathan. Maisie needs to stop talking so soon, because every time he says we're going to beat a team, we either lose or draw. He needs to start saying we'll lose so that the opposite happens. There you go, Maisie.
Can't say that, can I?
Yeah.
All right, we'll get stuffed by Milan this week.
Yeah. And this one, and we'll show you the picture that goes with this this note. Can we please get a booster seat for poor Danny Webber? Poor lad can hardly see the monitor. That's because Danny was in that unfortunate.
You know what it is? It's these chairs, like, you know, when you just got them little levers under your chairs and it goes down like that. It's one of them. There you go.
So yeah, we'll try and get a booster seat sorted out from. If you want to get in touch with the show, leave your comments on our YouTube channel, and anything you want to say. Well, not anything, but we'll sift through them. AC Milan. Well, it sounds like a Champions League semi-final or final, but it's going to be a last 16 Europa League tie Thursday night, Old Trafford. Last time we played Milan, Wes, 2010, we beat them 7-2 on aggregate when Bex was playing for Milan, Ronaldinho. In the first leg at San Siro, you came on as a 90th minute sub for Rafael. That was probably your best performance with it, mate.
Yeah, it was great performance.
Who's on it today, isn't it?
Hey,
Tell you what,
I tell you what.
did you get your notes this morning?
Just making sure that in that sort of time, Stu. Just making sure, mate. But yeah, it was always good playing there, and obviously at Old Trafford, you know, some great memories and some unbelievable players that they had as well along the years.
Yeah, a great tie though, Wes. I mean, you know, it is strange to have it in the last 16 of the Europa League, but what a tie, isn't it?
It is strange as well. But yeah, great tie. Two great clubs, to be fair. And, you know, whenever these two clashes, there's got to be, you know, lots of things happening. It's unfortunate Ibrahimovic won't be playing, I don't think, the first leg. I don't know about the second. But it's a competition we want to win. I'm sure just by the name of the club, the players will be more than up for it. And, you know, we've got a few days rest now. So I'm excited for it. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, Ben, AC Milan won at the weekend. Diogo Dalot, who can play, is eligible to play despite belonging to us, which is a weird one, isn't it? But he can play. He scored at the weekend. They're second to Inter Milan. We're second to the table as well, obviously. So it really is a heavyweight clash at this stage of the Europa League.
It is. It's one fitting for the final with the two teams that left in it. And if United are going to do it, then they are going to have to do it the hard way. Because it's going to be two really, really tough games with or without Ibrahimovic in the Milan side, who, as you mentioned, are going really well in the Italian league and hoping to get back on top of there because they've been away for far too long. But it is going to be a really tough game, but one that I'm sure we're all looking forward to. And in the vein of form that United are coming off the back of after yesterday, there's absolutely no reason why they should go into that with any fear in either leg.
Maisie, how tricky is it now at this stage? With the Thursday, you could play I think Spurs played Wolfsberger in the last round. You can basically play whoever you want in that game. When you're playing AC Milan, you've got to go with a full hit. You can't think we've got to rest some players for West Ham at the weekend. You've got to go with a full hit, haven't you?
Absolutely, yeah. And I think Ollie will. You know, I think you take great pleasure of the weekend before. So obviously that's a derby. The lads will still be buzzing going into that game. And this is what playing for Manchester United is all about, playing in the big games. You know, if you can't get up for them, you should be at the club. So I would expect United to turn up like they did yesterday and put on a performance. And it's going to be tough. We know that. But look, this is what playing for Manchester United is all about. This is what, you know, defines you as a United player. Turn up for these games with the right attitude. First and foremost, you've got to work your socks off. And if you get that, then your talent will come through.
Danny, I mean, against AC Milan with playing home first, away second. Does that matter with no fans?
It doesn't matter unless you're bringing into account the away goals. But it doesn't matter in terms of stadiums and that at the moment, purely because there's no fans. So no, we've been in good form against the big clubs, as Maisie said there. Even going back to the Sociedad game, the Real Sociedad game in the first leg of that, it was basically put to bed. So if we can put in a similar kind of performance, not going to be as easy, but we can put in a similar performance, take our chances. We've got a good chance of going through it.
And just sort of their away record, Wes, I've just looked at it. Their away record in Serie A is 11 wins, 1 draw, and 1 defeat. So they're having a hell of a season, aren't they?
Yeah, that's what makes it interesting as well. But they are having a good season. They've needed that. They've not really stepped it up for a good few years now. You know what I mean? So it's good to see them back. I just hopefully it doesn't, come on to us and what we're planning to do. But like I said, it's going to be an amazing game and a good one for all neutrals to watch as well.
So we've spoken about the Manchester derby. We've spoken about the AC Milan game coming up on Thursday, and big week concludes with United West Ham, who are going for the Champions League next weekend as well. And the ideal man to speak to, former West Ham manager, player, all-round legend, Harry Redknapp joins us. How you doing, Harry?
Oh, good, lads. Yeah, I'm fine. Thank you.
Actually, before we talk about West Ham, I wanted to ask you about AC Milan because it's 10 years since Big Joe and Gattuso got it on at the San Siro when you were in charge of Tottenham.
Yeah.
Who would have won that?
Oh, Joe. No danger. Joe's an amazing guy. He's still in that gym every morning. I think at about 7 o'clock. He's fit as a fiddle, Joe. Lovely guy, quiet man. But lads, you wouldn't want to cross Joe for sure. He's a top bloke, hard as nails.
Yeah, brilliant. West Ham this weekend, Harry. I mean, at the start of the season, if somebody would have told you West Ham would be in and around the Champions League positions, would you have believed that?
No, not at all. I thought they'd be in for another tough season, But they made a couple of great signings. The 2 Czech boys have been amazing. Yeah. The right back's been outstanding. He's quick. He's aggressive. He's an old-fashioned right back, if you like. He's a bit of a Phil Bardsley. Yeah. I mean, he's like one of them. He's hard as nails, and I would think he wouldn't be a lot of fun to play against. But he's been outstanding, the right back, and the big midfield player. He arrives in the box and his heading is like he is anyway. He's probably 6'4", whatever, 6'3", 6'4". But when he arrives late in the box, he's great in the air, and he keeps popping up with vital goals. But Antonio has been outstanding. His pace and his ability, his strength. He's got everything. He's a real handful for any defender.
Oh, absolutely, lads. If you want to jump in here, Ben?
Harry, where do you think West Ham? I'm all right, Harry. How are you? Where do you think West Ham can go from here, and what do you think that they might need further to be able to sort of bridge that gap? Because, like you said, I thought they were going to be in for a bit of a tough season, and they've actually surprised so many people.
But it's like everything; they need to, obviously they're going to have to go in at the end of the season, look to bring another one or two, strengthen the squad, strengthen the team again. They're short up front. If Antonio doesn't play, they have a big problem. They really, they let Haller go. He was a bit of a disaster in all honesty. He didn't do the job. And now they've left themselves a bit short, really. They do have a problem when Antonio's not fit. So that is certainly an area they've got to look at for next season. But, the centre halves are strong. They've got 3 or 4 centre halves for the positions, competition there. They're okay, if they can keep hold of Declan Rice, which I would think now the way the club's going, he'd probably, probably at the start of the year, he was looking to move. I think he was desperate to go to Chelsea at one time. But he's there now, and he's sort of the leader of the club. He's still only young. He's in the England team. So if they can keep hold of him, then the future's looking good, But it's amazing, the fact with no fans there, they've been funny old. They tended to be a little bit on their backs at times, the crowd at West. They turn very quite quickly if things are not going well. And perhaps with no crowds there, they've been a bit more relaxed this year, and it sort of suited them a bit.
Yeah, Maisie?
Harry, do you think West Ham, I mean, I think you're two games behind Chelsea. I think one game you can go in front of them. Do you think you'd take a Champions League or an FA Cup?
Oh, I think they'd take any of them, Dave, but certainly, I think they'd love to get in the Champions League. That would be something that would be a real dream for them, just to qualify for the Champions League. As I say, I've got, I watch all the games and I have been impressed with them. They really do look a decent team at the moment. So, and that, as I say, for me, there's one spot up for grabs. I don't know what the situation is if another team, if we could get 5 in, can we, if someone wins the cup who's already in? I don't know how it all works, but they've certainly got a chance this year. I wouldn't write them off for being nicking that 4th spot. Chelsea have come good now, started to win. But it's still, and Tottenham are on a little run now, so they're going to be close. But yeah, West Ham have got still got, they're still in there, got a bigger chance as the other two, I think, still.
Do you think Liverpool can survive relegation?
Oh, Dave, how can you believe it? Have you ever seen anything like that in your life? I've got to be truthful. I'm a punter, and I had a good bet at the start of the year. I bet Liverpool each way, first or second, third of the odds, 3-1. My bookie. I thought I can't be out the first 2. If they don't win it, they'll be second. But at the moment, you don't know. You'd be still struggling to finish in the top 6 the way they're going. It's just, I've never seen anything like it. It's incredible, isn't it? Every game you think, they'll bounce back today. Everton last week, Everton at home, they'll do them. Fulham yesterday, again. I don't know. It's just been unbelievable. It was great yesterday. In the Man United game, what a performance. Beating Man City yesterday, fantastic performance. But it's good. We've got. I think next year will be even closer again. I think Man United will keep improving. Tottenham have got a good squad. They should be up there. Chelsea now. So Man City again next year. I think it'll get closer. No one's going to run away with it quite as much, I don't think.
Wes, Dan?
Yeah, I was going to talk about Declan Rice, Harry. I think he's playing so well. I think it'd be hard to sort of hold on to him, if I'm being honest. But do you think West Ham need to sell? Or, could they keep fighting off everybody? And Jesse Lingard as well.
Oh, Jesse Lingard, I forgot.
The way he's fitting in.
What a job. How good he been, Wes? Since he's come in there, what a job. He's been amazing. You know yourself. It's confidence is key, isn't it? And he's gone there. He's been made. Suddenly he's important again. He's become somebody who's important to a team, and he's been in great form. So, he's going to be a big. He won't be able to play next week, will he? Obviously,
no.
So that's going to be a big blow for West Ham. But he's done great. They'd love to keep him, I'm sure. But Declan Rice, I think things have, if West Ham keep the way they're going, I think he'd probably be quite happy to stay. Certainly at the start of the year, I know people that he was really desperate to go to Chelsea. He's a big Chelsea fan as a kid, and he was there as a youth, as a schoolboy. And I think Frank, he had a lot of respect for Frank. And so maybe now that West Ham going so well, they've got to hang on to Declan Rice. If they're going to, go on to be up there challenging for a top 4, top 6 position every year, you can't afford to keep selling your best players. Them days of selling Rio, Frank and Michael Carrick and all them kids, they can't be doing that. You've got to hang on to Declan Rice.
Yeah.
You mentioned Harry before about a striker. So, if you were in the hot seat now, who would you think? He'll fit at the top of the way West Ham are playing.
I don't know who's around. Really, it's a difficult one, isn't it? I think Lukaku's ready to come back to England and play. He's done well, and whether they could afford a player like that now, I don't know. Maybe it would be. But who's around?
Harry, thanks so much for joining us. We really do appreciate it.
Pleasure, guys.
By the way, Jamie, your lad Jamie had a spat with Roy Keane on Sky last week. Are they all friends again?
Yeah, I'm sure. I didn't see it. I swear, I never saw it. I wasn't watching it, but Hey, listen, he could have a round empty room, Keno, couldn't he? Hey? But I love him. I like listening to him, and you know, I mean, what a player he was as well, wasn't he, Roy? You know, I'd like to see him get back into management. To be honest with you, when the Bournemouth job came up, I actually stuck his name up there. I mentioned him to the people there. You know, they asked me, and I said, "What about Roy Keane? You know, maybe he's." I thought maybe he'd mellowed a bit. You know, because you know yourselves, you know, you can only, you know, you can't. Players don't need to be you can't keep them. You've got, you know, they do need a bit of everything, and maybe he's learned that lesson a little bit. Maybe he'll come back and be a bit milder and a bit, you know, and realise that a arm round the shoulder at times is just as good as a kick up the backside.
Well, Keane at Bournemouth, that would be amazing. Brilliant. Thanks, Harry.
That would be great. I tell you, a great club for someone to manage. Yeah. Woody's in there. I hope Woody keeps it, but it would have been a good job for sure for someone, you know. Yeah. Ain't the worst place to live either.
No, not at all. Thanks so much. Thanks so much.
Nice one. Cheers,
Harry. Great to have Harry Redknapp. There you go, Roy Keane, Bournemouth manager. That would be amazing, wouldn't it? Right, lads, we've got through a lot, and we'll have plenty more to get through again next week. So thanks, guys. See you next time.
Cheers, everyone.
Cheers, boys. Ta-ra.
See you later.